You're listening to the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wyatt. You know, it's one thing to hunt. It's one thing to hunt with, I don't know, a traditional weapon or a non-traditional weapon. It's another thing to hunt with a weapon you've made. And maybe, I don't know, the ammo. All right, bows, arrows, 20 yards, 5 yards. We're going to talk about it today with some folks who've done that. The Buchanans, Joey and his son Joe from Oxford, Mississippi.
Mississippi Outdoors is sponsored by Entergy Mississippi. Entergy is building a stronger and cleaner grid to power a brighter future and protect our great outdoors for generations to come.
You're listening to the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wyatt. And today we have the Buchanans. Joey and Joe will introduce you, and we're going to talk bow hunting, but maybe not in the same way that when people hear bow hunting that they naturally think in those modern compound bows. Right, guys? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So, yeah, when you hear the term bow hunting, what do you automatically think of, Joey?
I think of someone deciding to use limited equipment and getting an early start on deer season, because they want to get out in the woods, and it's accepted a challenge.
Yeah,
and definitely an exploration of what they're going to entail that year, and they learn and grow, and then they become passionate about it.
Yeah. And Joe, 20 years old, you kind of came by it naturally, obviously, the interest in, but for you, your interest in it, was it automatic? Was it something he had to kind of convince you, or?
It was almost automatic. He really didn't have to push me in that direction at all. I think I started when I was a sophomore or junior in high school, and it just felt like the most natural step to go into.
So there's the ground. We've laid the groundwork. Okay, that's what we think about with bow hunting. Now, the next level is some people think of that big, strong compound bow, that modern limited equipment, as you say. But you guys are doing it a little different.
Yeah, I try to explain it this way. God just hit me with a curse, to make it hard on myself, and I loved it. And I walked into a store in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1989, and I had a compound. I needed some work on it, and the guy said, "Your bow is out of date," and this and that, and I was just starting as a field salesman, and I had no money, and so I walked out there. I said, "I'm gonna make my own bow," and so there was a little ad in the back of a little magazine, and I reached out to them, and next thing I know, I get a little pamphlet, and I'm making it and studying it, and I bought a pawn shop bow in the meantime. And I was living in, like I said, Atlanta, and they had a mecca. It was really exploding. Traditional archery was right then.
In Atlanta, you said?
In Georgia.
In Georgia.
And I saw where they had a tournament. I couldn't hit my truck at 20 yards with that bow, but I went to the tournament. And it's something about traditional bow hunters. They kind of group together, they just took me in. And so I got the hook then, and I started hunting with it. And it was tough because your range is 20 to 18 in the end. Our range is. And so you had to think differently. But so I got in it like that and started making my own equipment.
And Joey, again, what time frame was that we're talking about?
1989.
So that was long before Joe came along.
Oh, yeah. I was single in Atlanta and in a South Georgia hunting club, and my friends were in Atlanta, enjoying Atlanta, and every weekend I was going down, to the woods.
So Joe, since the time you were born, then you've seen your dad using traditional bow, like it. So that I should have asked that first, because that answered my first question. Yeah, you've seen it your whole life.
Yeah.
And your introduction into using it and shooting it, was it as a little guy?
Yes. There's a photo of me and my older brother at a 3D archery range. It was somewhere near Oxford, with us with arrows in a big hog, I believe.
No, you're sitting on a buffalo.
Sitting on a buffalo.
I just made them bows for Father's Day. 2 little long bows. And they jumped up on the buffalo target.
That's great.
Yeah.
So and now you're in Oxford. I got a million questions coming to mind, so I may sound like I'm all over the place, but you're saying 20 yards is the range.
Yeah.
So in and around Oxford, Lafayette County, where are you hunting? What types of places are you hunting to give yourself an opportunity at that distance?
Yeah. We hunt outside Clarksdale
Okay.
in the Delta. And so we have a club there. And so that's our one place we hunt a lot.
Okay.
And so we kind of know the woods there and
Okay.
learn
Yeah.
it. Still learning.
Joey, going back to you, the light bulb goes off. You say, I'm going to make my own bow. And you did.
Mm-hmm.
That first one that you made, traditional bow, compared to how you make them now,
Mm-hmm.
is it the same or is it very different? Like,
That's a good question. My first one, I still have it. It's terribly ugly. It's functional.
okay.
The learning curve is pretty sharp. It takes minimum Woodsman as far as crafting, okay? But probably my third one looked kind of up to speed. And I got to a point where I was making a really nice bow. I mean, fine woods, and I would donate them to the turkey banquet in Atlanta.
Oh, very cool.
And and that was within 9 months of when I started.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I sold much building products that half year there. I think my sales were down. I was in the back of my apartment in Atlanta running a sander.
Yeah.
But it's not that it's that hard, but there's things you have to know how to do to tiller. And I was just blessed with, if I want to know something, I will call somebody. Back then we didn't have, so I called the best bow maker that had and he just gave me all this info. And, I did the same thing with duck calls and turkey calls if I make them, but that helped me a lot to get that quality of product.
Yeah. I wonder if, for someone Joe's age now, he's 20, in terms of finding that community, it'll be much different for him because of the internet. You can just Google and find people versus what you went through in the 80s. Are you making them?
Scooter was able to come and see us make part of my bow. And yeah, that was just such a great experience. But yes, I am making them now.
How old were you when you started to get into actually making it?
This was this year.
This year, the first one.
Yep.
I want to interject this. I didn't encourage him to go down this traditional ditch. Okay. It's hard. It's very hard to hunt with this type of equipment. I mean, you have to change your mindset. So I encouraged him to use a compound. And I love compound hunters. We all buy a hunting license, and
sure.
we give them success, at the beginning. But Joe has always been a young man that's always challenged himself. And so his bow that he just made, and he just killed a deer with it, is a lot prettier than mine.
That's great. But as a dad, you'd prefer that you hand that down and you see it kind of take the next step, go the next.
Yeah. He wouldn't let me do anything. He did it all. And I was very proud of what he did.
All right. Okay. So what do you make it out of? It's got to be some specific type of wood, type of material?
So there are several types of wood you can use. And my bow that I made is made out of persimmon. And it's wood that we got from our hunting camp. And then you also have fiberglass as well. And really those are the main two components. But I would say it's probably 90% persimmon and then 10% fiberglass.
The first one you made it out of what?
I made it out of walnut, and I went in red elm limbs. I went the safe route. But then as I started making bows, I started adding different woods, and we thought it'd be neat. I made a persimmon bow from our hunting land, and then I got a tree, and we milled it and dried it, and then he got a really pretty piece of spalted wood, and he's left-handed too, and I'm right-handed, so I hadn't shot it yet. But,
That's neat.
She's well.
And I know you mentioned you killed a deer with it this year. What was that experience? Give me the story of that hunt.
It was great. Scooter was there and filmed it. And
Scooter got it on film. Awesome.
Yeah, he's going to do a show of him making the bow and then killing it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it was a afternoon hunt, and it was a doe. We just saw it walk up, and luckily she didn't see me too much, and she's got close enough. It was a 10-yard shot, I want to say, and she just ran off and lied down, but it was just such a great feeling.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
And Scooter will have it documented for you.
Mm-hmm.
From a technique and a logistics standpoint of a hunt like that, how is that? Were you on the ground? Are you elevated? Is it different because of the limited equipment?
I was in a tree stand and I was maybe 12 feet off the ground. I wasn't too high up. And with compounds, they're able to get a lot higher because their bow just has a lot of power and they have a little bit more range than us. But yeah, I was maybe 12 feet off the ground. I could have fallen off and I would have been.
All right. And so this would be a question for both of you. Why do it? Somebody says, well, why do that? What reward do you get from it?
I can answer. I had a scenario in Mexico. I was hunting 2 years ago with turkeys, and everybody killed turkeys with their gun. And I had my recurve, and I'd already killed a ghouls 20 years ago, my recurve. And so my friend kept saying, hey, take the gun, take the gun, take the gun. And I said, I came here. I didn't come here to kill a turkey. I came here to bow hunt a turkey. Mm-hmm. And I can't believe I said that because it fits my mindset. Okay. And what we're doing and what he's fell in love with is the simplicity of the woods, the tree, your own equipment, and you don't have success every time you go. Mm. But the more you do your homework, become a better woodsman, that does shrink down to where you can be very successful. And so it's just a great feeling when you've harvested a doe, a buck, or whatever, that, you took this animal very close. And I try to explain it to my turkey hunting friends, my gobbler has to be from here to that couch. Mm-hmm. And you won't believe the noise and the sounds and the things they do that close because they've been dead 30 yards out there.
Yeah.
But you get the whole show. And Joe harvested his first gobbler last year with this recurve, and he shot it at
6 yards.
6 yards. And so it was
6. That's quarterback sneak. We can make that's a push for the Eagles. You can smell each other's breath at 6 yards just about.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely the highlight of my hunting career.
Yeah. So I wonder too, you probably run into a lot of hunters, avid turkey hunters, who've never been that close in a hunting situation, 6 yards to a gobbler. Mm-hmm. And there you are hunting, and taking one at that distance. Pretty cool deal.
Yeah. It's a system kind of what we do, but
woodsmanship, it's a different ball game there too.
Absolutely. It's game changer.
Well, what are the pointers or the differences?
What I've learned, and it keeps growing as far as the challenge, and it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle. You're putting the pieces in the puzzle. And instead of getting in an oak flat where you got a 50-yard, and I'm versing a compound hunter or a gun hunter, we are going to figure out what tree they're coming to, what trail they're coming to. Mm. Why are they coming? Where are they coming from? What's the prevailing wind? Why are they doing this? What time of day? This, that. Is there water involved? Is there bedding? Is it rut? So, because we got to be 18 yards. And Scooter had a 9-point come under him, and we couldn't shoot 9s and 10s this year. Mm-hmm. But he had a 9-point, but we figured out that was the tree. Mm-hmm. That's the tree. And, that's what's exciting to me, just about bow hunting in general, is to get in there and figure out, all right, what are they doing? In his particular deal, the birds were really, the flocks of blackbirds.
Yeah.
When they hit a tree, they're hitting it for a reason. And it's usually an oak tree late. And they get in there and they knock all these acorns down.
Okay.
I learned that years ago. If I hear a bunch of birds, I'll get down and I'll go check that tree out. And, just little things like that. So it made me personally, okay, I started in 89, killed my first deer in 90 with a recurve bow in 91 or 90, but I had to get better. And so you spend time in the woods, and you have a lot of time in a tree stand. You can think about a lot of things in a tree stand, but the traditional part is just such a closer sport. And and I'll say this, and I competed at the highest level in traditional archery tournaments and won. But I have no business shooting at a deer past 20 yards with my equipment.
Okay.
It's not worth it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's not. It's not there.
It's fascinating to think. The competition part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just because you're competitive, or did it help you stay sharp, or you just wanted to do it?
Both. I was with a group that were very competitive. We were in Georgia, and it was booming. And so single, and no girlfriend, and
So you had time.
and there were big tournaments. Howard Hill was the biggest one in Alabama, and Cloverdale and the East Coast, and we went to all of them. And but that part of it did not make me a better game shot. Absolutely not.
Really?
I was winning these things, and I missed 60 turkeys before I killed my first one.
Really?
Yes, I choked. I would choke. Took me a while to get over that.
Choke
At the turkey.
At the turkey. Why? Heart beating?
Yeah, heart beating, snap shooting, not holding my form, not picking a spot. I missed most of them. If I even hit them, I hit them over the back, the feather sticking up.
Yeah.
And that's what I was so proud of him. The bird comes in and he just, doink, and first gobbler he ever shot at.
Okay. Wow. And I can't help but wonder too. So let's go with a sports analogy here. Golf.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a young person with some ability and interest, a kid, and they start hitting a golf ball and training at 3 years old, like Tiger Woods, or before, they have so much of a better chance to be better by the time they hit 20 years old versus the middle age or the retired guy who we decide to get into it. Do you think that maybe because he's been hunting with one his whole life, he's got a better chance to be better?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, in the fact that it's all about reps.
Yeah.
And it's people ask me, say, hey, I did seminars a while back on how to bow hunt turkeys. And I do blind or blindless. And they say, what's your biggest point, your tip? And I say, go hunt where there's a lot of turkeys because you
get reps.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he's getting a lot of reps, but he is very choosy. He will pass up bucks and a lot of stuff like that, which at a young age I wouldn't have.
Wouldn't have. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Joe, do you have a sense yourself of, there's a tradition here going on, something that your father started that you're kind of involved in, but potentially can pass along? Do you ever think about that? Does it mean something to you?
Or I haven't yet, but I'll definitely start thinking about it in the future. Mm-hmm.
Well, all right, the bow that you made, length, what are we talking about here?
I would say it's maybe
62.
Yeah. 5 feet long.
Okay. So it's 5 feet long. Then the other materials. All right. So we've got the bow. What else do we have involved?
So there's the string, and then there's little nuts in there to keep the riser and the limbs together.
Okay.
Then there's epoxy that got the limbs all settled in together.
And do you order these parts separately and make them, or how do you come up with that?
So we order these parts all separately.
All right. And then tell me about the arrows. Oh, what's that process? Are you making those?
So we buy all the arrow parts individually, like the broadheads, the shafts, and then the fletchings and the nocks. And then we just glue those up together.
Okay.
And broadheads.
Yeah, broadheads.
We traditional guys got to be a broadhead sharpener. You got to use a razor sharp broadhead. So
right. And you sharpen those?
Oh yeah, I'm fanatic about it, and go teach him. Kind of, you remind me of a story I think is pretty funny. It kind of sums up traditional bow hunting. Is in my town, one of our great families there were the Slater Jigs.
Okay.
And Jimmy Slater asked me, I was still in Atlanta or something, I'd come to his shop during Christmas to see my folks. And I asked him, did he carry some kind of traditional thing? And Jimmy says, no, I don't carry it to y'all. I said, why, Jimmy? He says, let me tell you something about traditional bow hunters. they'll walk in public woods for miles and miles to find one turkey feather to make a fletching, then pay me 25 cents. That sums up traditional bow hunting.
I see. That's pretty cool.
But the bow that Joe made was a takedown recurve, and it's a very, that's what they shoot. Basically, most people shoot as far as recurves. You have one-piece recurves. We made a three-piece recurve, a riser and 2 limbs. Then you got long bows, which are basically the string just doesn't touch the limbs. That's where they're called long bows.
Okay.
And then you got wood bows. Now those are the guys that make out of one piece of wood their bow, like the Indians.
Out of one piece.
Yeah, and they're slower, but they're effective. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've made wood arrows and all that, but the arrows now are so good now, and broadheads are so good, and so but. It's always a process when you come in from hunting. Touch up your heads, check your fletching, check your brace height on your bow. But one of the neat things about Trish Bow, the other morning we get up and Joe says, "Dad, my air shelf fell off. The pad where the air sits on."
Mm-hmm.
So we just got some Velcro, cut it with scissors, put a toothpick on it, boom, there we go.
Yeah,
that's neat. About it. You control your own equipment. I had a string break one time hog hunting in Florida. I spliced it with dental floss. Kind of like to be MacGyver. I mean, a lot of traditional bow hunters aren't like that, but that mindset is what's so fun to me about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to see him?
It's he is so much smarter than I was at his age. It was all about get out there and get it done.
Yeah.
He is asked all the questions that I didn't ask myself in 30 years old. But watching him, climb the tree and say, "Hey, got your pull rope? Dad, I got 2 of them." He's prepared and he embraces it. And what'd you see? He said, "Dad had a great hunt. I saw 3 raccoons. They got in a little fight. Saw a possum. Had a spike come under me, smelled my nose jammer, and he liked it." He sees the woods like I see it.
Yeah.
And that is.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool
special.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really special. Yeah. And, for you, I asked you about the, sort of family tradition, passing it on, and helping it. Do you have friends your age that look at it and ever go, "That's pretty cool," or do they just is it the eye roll? Which do you get from your contemporaries?
At first, it was what the heck is that, and then now they understand it a little bit more. Like, okay, wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. They ever inquire about doing it themselves? Maybe.
I have one buddy he's from Kansas City, and he's never been hunting before, but last year he bought a compound, and then he's been telling me that he would one day like to go into recurve hunting, go into traditional bow hunting, and that's been great, being able to see that.
Joe's not telling you the whole truth. He is a modest, quiet cat. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, he does things his friends,
which is great for podcasts, right? No, I'm kidding.
But if I shot a deer or a turkey his age and he's killed 2 or 3 bucks and does, I'd have him on front of my Buick Regal. Okay. I'd be making laps down 82 in Indianola. All right. And he takes it.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So what about someone that either sees the show, with that scooter, or runs into you, or hears this and they think, okay, I want to do it. How do they get involved? Is it an organized, is it a club thing? Like, how do you get involved with this?
We're pretty much closet hunters. I mean, we stayed ourselves, I'm a lifelong member of Mississippi Bowhunter Association, which is a kind of a settled organization. But I have a young man in Oxford right now that's got into it, reached out to me. He comes and practices. He's going to start building his own bow. But if you're listening to the podcast, say, "Man, I'm really interested in that." Internet has some forums, Trad Gang and Powwow, and those guys, are from certain states, and they'll help you. But you might know somebody locally and just ask them, hey, the first advice I give somebody, go to a pawn shop and buy a $50 recurve. Don't even buy arrows. Use your compound arrows. Get in your backyard, shoot a bale of hay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like hitting that perfect 7-iron with the draw.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the flight of that arrow and it's slower, we're shooting about 180 feet per second.
Okay.
Now I'm shooting a 700 grain arrow, so it's going to be slow. But the compounds now are so fast,
yeah.
But they see the flight of that arrow and it hits their mark. It's a neat feeling.
Sure.
So yeah, buy a pawn shop bow, get out there. And let me tell you, there are custom bows out there for $1,500, $2,000. And then there are bows that you can buy on Amazon that are very well made. They're probably made somewhere else for $180 and they're just as good.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know if I answered the question a lot, but find somebody in your area that does it and they'll help you. We have an organization in this state that has 2 or 3 tournaments, and I love them because you can go and it's all the crappie and catfish you can eat, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not a big trophy. It's not on ESPN.
Sure.
And there are people there that'll help you.
That's cool. Yeah. So that's one thing I didn't think of. We were talking earlier about shooting, short distance, let's say inside of 20 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have to consider wind and things at that distance with these?
Not really.
Not really?
Since it's so close.
It's so close.
And always hunt in really heavily wooded areas
Yeah.
and where the wind's just not too much of a factor.
Yeah. Is there, this may be a silly question, but is there also something that, sort of strikes that nostalgic chord of, thinking about, things that are prehistoric, thinking about Native American Indians and how they hunted and sort of connecting with some of that? I know you talked about the woodsmanship,
Mm-hmm.
but is there some of that element too that plays into sort of the love for doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I had that experience when I first started turkey hunting with my bow in 90, 91. I walked out of the camp house or whatever we stayed in, my house, barely, and a turkey gobbled, and I had a recurve, and I said, what am I doing with this thing? And then I got to thinking, well, and that's how the Native Indians did it. And they had decoys, and they, did stuff and made their own strings out of sinew, out of tendons.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, heck, I'm doing that too, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But the nostalgia part, I guess Fred Bear is the guy. He brought it. He didn't patent majority of his stuff. He didn't patent to encourage other people to get into it. And so he's our modern day kind of guy. And just the old film clips of him and the plaid. I wear a lot of plaid. I hardly wear camo. Biggest deer I ever killed, I was frying catfish with it the night before in overalls.
Is that right?
But it's like it all kind of fits together of the past. And in the past, they did do woodmanship and stuff like that. So I think it's neat that we're still kind of doing that. Now, who knows where hunting's going now? And that's not a bad thing, okay?
Sure. Right. Yeah.
We got a lot of deer. We got to deal with them. And, but there's a little part of us that's still doing that not because personally, I don't want to be different. It's because I love it. I love how it all fits together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you do your thing. My best bow hunting friend, besides Joe, is the gadget man.
Okay.
And we hunt side by side, and he gets enjoyment. I get enjoyment. But
Yeah.
Nostalgia is probably the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. Gotcha. So Joey, for you, we're coming up on, not there yet, am I right? 40 years of doing it?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost 40 years of doing that. If you could go back to when you first started, could do anything differently if you wanted to, would you? Is there anything you would do differently?
This would probably surprise you. I was a young man with some old men, that taught me. My father didn't hunt, but he supported me, helped, bought my shells, and my friends from Indianola took me. Anytime they cranked their truck up, they would take me. But I wish I had taken more pictures in a journal and documented. Pathfinder, he's heard all these stories. Biggie, these people that were in the, my buddy Marty McMahon and Batman and these guys at Schuster. I mean, pictures us doing stuff, and I saved the elk herd in Colorado for 5 years with the elk bugle. I ran them off.
Really?
Oh yeah, I never killed elk. I mean, I ran them off, but I had a great time. We camped, we roughed it, and I wish I'd taken more pictures of just the guys and us, and because some of those guys aren't here anymore. And
Sure.
but no, when you sign up for this, like I did, and it wasn't a choice, I just knew I wanted to do it. Yeah, I've missed some big deer, a lot of big deer, shot some big deer.
Yeah.
But I don't regret missing those deer. Okay, and I would have probably had a better chance with other equipment.
Well, you would have for sure.
But the fact that I got in that mulberry tree because I figured out that signpost rub is active and he's going to come check it. And I got 10 yards from that 170-inch deer. We both win. The deer lives, I live.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I'd picked up on your irony though, when you said you saved the elk herd there. It took me a minute. I'm slow.
Yeah.
The Mississippi State grad over here. Yeah. Saved the elk herd.
Oh,
we
yeah.
saved for 5 years.
Oh, yeah. From basically Durango to Montrose. I'm a cheap hunter. Okay. I never do an outfit. And
Flannel, overalls.
well, the equipment's so much better now.
Yeah,
I still
really
wear a wax coat duck hunting, but I'd always pay an outfit, a landowner fee, especially turkey hunting. And you just dump you out and go do it. And Alaska and all that, jump out of a plane with a raft, and about drowned twice in one day. And,
See, Joe, that's what you got to look forward to. All that's in front of you.
yeah. And I'll tell Joe this, you're going to go down this road and you're going to meet people with a similar interest. And that's what's the most rewarding to me. Because you hear me on the phone, you hear me texting, you hear them calling me, what are y'all doing in Mississippi today? And I don't know if the compound group has it, but the traditional guys through an organization I joined a long time ago called the Professional Bowhunting Society. The name is not what I like, but it's basically 99% traditional bow hunters.
Okay.
And the motto is experience through knowledge. But they have a banquet every 2 years, and you're sitting by Pulpwood Hauler, Nobel Prize winner. I mean, it's interesting people. But I can call any of them. I don't know them. I can get their number.
Mm-hmm.
And if I draw an Oregon elk tag, I go stay at their house. I had a guy from North Carolina call me last year, turkey hunt Sardis. Bam, I'm dropping him waypoints, met him at the catfish. It's that kind of.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's what I've enjoyed, the people. And
Yeah.
and I hope you get down the road, and you will, and you'll meet people with similar interest and grow from that. And they'll teach you stuff and you'll teach them stuff. But the main thing is you share the same, enjoyment that you pursue, the animals with the bow and arrow.
Yeah. Share that interest. What's in your future? What are you working on? What are you going to do?
As far as what type of game I'd like to hunt, I guess elk is about the only thing he hasn't gotten.
Okay.
And I would like to try to get that.
With the longbow?
With the recurve.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't one up me.
Yeah. Well, he ran them off for 5 years. And so
Hopefully there's enough now to where I can sneak up on one.
I'm sure there is. College in your future? Yay, nay?
Mm-hmm. Or I'm currently a junior at Ole Miss. And then.
Yeah. That's great. So go to school full-time, hunt part-time, or vice versa? Huh?
Mm-hmm. He's a good student. I mean, Scooter had a hard time getting up with him. He's in accounting, and
okay, great.
Junior year's tough, and he takes
great.
it serious.
This is probably, Joey, something I should have asked you, as we were getting started. But Indianola, Georgia, back to Ole Miss, how'd all that happen for you back then?
God had a plan. And I went to work. I graduated Ole Miss with a 2.07. I had a lot of job offers, you can imagine. And I went to work for a grocery chain. They were training me around a grocery store. And then Peter West, our friend,
Yeah.
who we love,
Yeah.
uncle needed a salesman, forest salesman. And so I went to Texas interview, forgot my resume. I knew I wasn't going to get hired. But, game time
Wait a minute. Went to Texas
to interview with this big Fortune 200 company.
and oops, I left my
Yes.
resume.
So I got there and, like the big games you've had.
Yeah.
You know that feeling? I just rolled up my sleeves. I said, I'm getting this job. And they hired me.
That's
And
great.
it was a wonderful career. I stayed with them for 25 years. But I was the guy at the salesman. We need somebody in Phoenix. We need somebody in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I was not married. I didn't get married. I was 38. And so my wife was in Atlanta. I had lived in Atlanta, which was great. I had a great hunting club. And but I moved to Phoenix and we were in Atlanta, to answer your question, and we started having kids. And we said, we need to move closer. Her parents were from Clarksdale, mine were from Indianola. So we need to be closer to home. And we were looking at schools and affordability and Oxford public schools we thought are good. And so we moved to Oxford and to get help with diapers too. And what we found out when we moved back, we needed to change their diapers. Okay. They had gotten old because we got married so late. And
That's how it works.
But Matt, those states I lived in, when I moved from Georgia to Arizona, I found a guy in Arizona that was in that organization. And
Wow.
I emailed him. And I was javelina hunting with him in 3 weeks.
Really?
And then I got drawn for Arizona elk 10 years later, and he brings a camper just for me and takes me elk hunting. But I met people along the way in those states because I'd go to the traditional shoot or whatever they had, but we came full circle like that. And I never would have thought I'd be living back in Mississippi because I'm a Mississippi guy through and through. And it's neat because Mississippi people are just so neat and, hospitable and connect and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't drag me out of here.
And it sounds, now I think about as we've kind of had this conversation, making the traditional bow, hunting with it, the technical things about that and all that. But it's like the story underneath that, the big story underneath all that is really the community sort of.
It is.
The hunting community as a whole, and then this community of traditional bow hunters around the country, as you've described it 2 or 3 times, how close-knit and welcoming everybody is. That's really kind of the story underneath it all.
Never really thought exactly like that, but you nailed it. The traditional community is so close-knit and giving and helpful, and that's special with us. Now, you'll have that crazy traditional guy that's, shoot a longbow, That ain't my guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My guy's sitting over there with overalls, with a knife, chilling on a whittling stick, probably rabbit hunted that morning on his way to the deer stand, Those are those guys.
Yeah.
That's the guys I search out.
Yeah, that's great. And the 20-year-olds who can kill a turkey at 6 yards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and we didn't even call that turkey up.
Really?
Mm-mm. Yeah, we went from 10 to 2.
So just, what do you mean? Just waited?
Well, we cheated. Okay, we cheated. We were in a double bull, tight blind.
Oh, okay. I get it.
A lot of my turkey and I have a stool.
Okay.
But we had called, it was turkeys in the area, and he had passed up a turkey at 25 yards in that same food plot. And this is when I knew he had the traditional mindset. He said, Dad, I don't feel comfortable taking that shot.
Yeah.
And I went,
Why? Explain why.
Or at 25 yards, or the thing about traditional bow hunting is that I just have to hit a pie plate at 15, 20 yards. And then especially with turkey at 25, I'm just not confident at all that I can hit it.
It's too low percentage.
Yep.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
I knew he
taking
had
this
that ethics in him.
Uh-huh. He's thinking about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's animal. I mean,
And the right heartbeat.
Mhm. Yeah. But the turkey had gobbled an hour before. So he knew we were there.
That's right.
So we just waved him out and he comes bopping along.
That's
Bless his
great.
heart.
10 to 2. That's pretty good little weight.
We walked by another guy set up with his decoy, and we had 2 bows and a blind. I know he's thinking, those guys, they're not hitting on nothing. But
that's great. That's great. Well, and that I think that's probably a nice way too to put a bow on it. Is we've talked about the the family aspect of it, but getting to do it together. That's a really cool thing. Yeah. So when you write the journal and you keep the notes, you got pictures. That's a pretty cool part of it too. There'll be a day you'll look back and have pictures together. That's a neat thing. Yeah, really cool. Well, guys, thanks so much for being here and giving us just even the most basic glimpse into what you're doing and making those bows and hunting with them. It's a really cool thing. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know I did. Thanks for listening to the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, and we'll see you outdoors.